New on Curiosity Stream.
I'm James Burke. I'm going to take you on a journey through time.
James Burke's visionary series returns, reimagined for our time.
Now, this is all uncharted territory.
The Washington Post hails Burke as one of the most intriguing minds in the Western world. The New York Times raves he careens from one great moment in history to another.
Where do we want to go from here?
Experience all new connections.
So what's the next connection?
With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
So how's it going, J360 Legion? How's it going, everybody out there? Happy 4th of July. I know how some of y'all can't handle a traditional salutation of holidays because whether or not that it validates you, 9 times out of 10 you'll be upset about it anyway. I've seen a lot of issues where people are saying, oh, you can't talk about that. It's not for black people. It's not for... Look, the thing is, it's for anybody that wants a better life, anybody that wants freedom, anybody that wants to be out here and can be anything they want to be. Now, you got some gatekeeping jerks out there that always want to say, oh, no, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. When's the last time ever since, ever, did anybody allow people to censor how they live their lives? You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know it's the 4th of July weekend and all, but everybody has a complaint about something. And yes, while America has its problems, you really shouldn't hate on the 4th that much. There are better ways of doing this. But I've already said too much because welcome to the J-Man Show here on J360 Radio.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
And that is amazing, J360 Legion. We are back for episode 106. And welcome to the J-Man Show again. I am your host, J-Man. And yes, we are finally at the pinnacle. It's the month of July. I know some of you parents are out there just counting down the days so you can send your brats back to school so that you don't have to deal with so much headaches and how the hell did this happen and stuff. Because I know there are some of y'all out there the kids are a blessing, don't get me wrong, but there are times where you're like, geez, why can't you all just go back to school where you could learn something so I can live off of you for the rest of my life? And I can understand that. I mean, after all, I just look at it from time to time because when I'm working, whether I'm doing this show or whether I'm working out there at the 9 to 5, I always think this. I'm like, damn, this headache could have been a lot lighter if those kids were at school. And pretty much, I've had some pretty interesting things happen over this week. Did you know yours truly almost got railroaded out of his job? Because, see, it's summertime and stuff, and when you have allergies pretty bad, and you see we didn't have good rain going around here. We had humid weather mixed in with a lot of I don't know whether it was pollen or not, because the thing about it is sometimes things will just kick up your allergies. And with the way things are out there in the world, my allergies were pretty bad this 3 days ago. And man, them idiots at my job try to railroad me out of it. Now, needless to say, I mean, they had some valid points. I mean, I did miss a significant. I did miss a Saturday because apparently that's a cardinal sin in the retail game for some stupid reason. I guess because you're pretty much a number in a machine. You're not a human being. You know what I'm saying when it comes to these people. And I look at them and I'm like, you guys can't fire me. You can't fire me at all because see, I have paper. And I have PTO time to myself, which I can use at any time, no questions asked. So, once again, I fought the system. So, I had a little revolutionary war going. And needless to say, I did keep my crap 9 to 5. And while I was at it, I was looking at some other jobs, and I got some interviews lined up for that too. So it's just so stupid the way our institutions are, and I can understand that being trapped in a 9-to-5 can make you jaded about things. But I always think this, since we have these traditions, we don't need to hate them all the time. We just need to make them better. We need to quit putting profits before people. And we need to go ahead and handle some other situations like, a lot of people are saying, shut down the detention centers, or at least give them better habit, or at least change the habitats about it. Because nowadays, these people are barely getting blankets. And I think there's a moment where they say it's a lot more filth because they're not having undergarments or any sort of ways to take care of themselves. And I mean, you could go on this rant about sanctuary cities too, just like anything. You know what I'm saying? And what's so sad about it all is this isn't the first time America has done these things. This isn't the first time that they've separated kids or they put people away just to put people away because they were afraid that they were a threat to the idealism and livelihood of the social elites. I mean, this stuff has been going on for years. And, when you look at like the dark side of America's history, which is, which is slavery, which is pretty much what this country is built on. Yes, a lot of things America has to atone for. And I've been saying that throughout the whole context of building this show. But I also realize that some people, where they say they're trying to do the greater good, the greater good, chances are they're going about it in the wrong way and they're not solving a thing. And if anything, they're trying to push the envelope for an agenda that they feel as though it might be long-term, and good to them. Good to them for thinking that their pipe dream is actually something that's going to help them in the long run. Chances are it's probably a short-term mess that nobody really has a crux to pay for. Like, I could look at, AOC's Green New Deal, that is, the Green New Deal, and kind of say that. I mean, the girl is smart, don't get me wrong, but, at the end of the day, every single thing is an experiment, and some of us, we got to be brave enough to experiment to get these new ideas, because the old ways we do things just doesn't work anymore. I mean, especially with some of you out there that are working at a grueling 9-to-5 shift, and they call it flex time because it's flex time for them. They don't have to do anything, but you're the one in the middle feeling like you're being quartered every time, and you're not getting livable wages for it. And then some people got a nerve to say, well, let's raise the minimum wage up. That'll help everything. Temporary measure, because you know why? Because once that minimum wage go up, hey, guess what? Take a look at the necessities of life, because they went up too. You see what I'm saying? Everything still revolves around a 40-hour work week and a cost of living, which is up there in the 20s, I want to say. But then you got taxes milking you. You got, the needs of things milking you. And then you got some people that mistake their wants for their needs. Say, hey, I need to get stuff ready for this business. But at the same time, that Xbox or that 60-inch TV is starting to look good to me. Little things like that. Oh man, I need to jump on this. I got to be about the technological arms race. Which, at the same time, it might be a hyperbolic statement, but at the same time, it's like, it's pretty much out there, because we all have to get that new technology, especially when you're pretty much building a production company and you want to stay, competitive. And you see, the thing about me is I'm not afraid to do that. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, I have to pace myself. And which is why I went ahead and I fought to get that 9-to-5 back. Yeah, I make money doing J360 radio, but the thing about it is this. I make more money while working the 9-to-5, and, at the end of the day, things are going to get bigger. As a matter of fact, that's why next week, there is no J360 content happening next week, because we're working on maintenance for the next level. So, you got things to look forward to in that, at least with the new website, and there's going to be some changes here and there, because we got certain podcast outlets that these shows are on that need the attention to. And, you'll all see the layout after a while. But, oh yeah, by the way, as far as the YouTube channel goes, that's a J360 TV, J360 TV method. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm taking the shows off of there, and, you'll get something different. As a matter of fact, you'll see it all by next week, because I'm ready to do this, man. That's when the big jump is going to be. But other than that, though, it's been one hell of a fight this past couple of days. Because, I mean, I didn't think I had to, but, the thing about it is, if it's something that is important, you'll fight for it, right? You know, it's like everybody wants to argue and everybody claims to want to fight, but then you've noticed that when people fight for stuff, they really don't know the long-term cost of their actions. And then there's times where it's like, you know, they feel as though they're about the romantic side of the struggle here. You know what I'm saying? And by us, like, see, the 4th of July, yes, it's about America's independence from the British, right? I mean, at least when we established it. And then there's a lot more within that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would try to look at the day as a celebration of all of America's history, and at the same time knowing that I have the freedom to go ahead and grill for my freeloaders and all sorts of other people out there who want to come ahead and partake, you know? But then you got people out there with so many choices of their freedoms and how they choose to spend it. Thereby, you look at how the veterans sacrificed themselves throughout years and years only to be betrayed by the country that they've taken an oath to protect. You know, it's a very, very rigid divide out here. But you see, at the end of the day, like anything else, I'm not a fan of what America is becoming. You know what I'm saying? Which is pretty much a side pocket of different small arguments. I am a fan of what America could become. Something better than what it is. And yeah, I look at all sides of the spectrum, and I know there are multiple different arguments, and I'm always like, okay, but what is the main goal here? What's your end game? What is it all about? Are you all about inclusion? Are you all about multinational togetherness, which I'm about? Or are you all about, hey, to hell with everybody else, I'm going to quietly move forward my section and then like have us all take over and keep things in control because there has to be a chain of command. And the problem is there are people out there like that all the time. Remember, you won't replace us. I understand that. But you see, racism exists in so many different forms anymore. You wonder who or what is actually winning the fight out there. And then 9 times out of 10, you don't want to even be a part of that group because they're worse than what the predecessor was. You know what I'm saying? I saw no, it wasn't a YouTube channel. It was an Instagram channel talking about like pro-blackness and stuff. And then at the same time, they're saying, oh, you can't lay with whites. You can't mix with anybody. And it's like, who the hell are you to tell me what I can or can't do, you jaded, sorry son of a... You know what I'm saying? You can't tell me anything. I will do and can do whatever I want. And you can't say anything about me betraying anybody because I've done quite a lot for my own race and other races. So it's like, where the hell have you been? And what makes you so damn better than me that you got to go on your tangent about stuff? You know what I mean? I'm all about this. Equality at the end of the day is like everybody sitting at the round table. Not everybody sitting at the far end table or at their popular table and the unpopular table. No. Separation of that kind of stuff, which exists in institutions like schools and everything. You see, that's where the problem is. It's all a damn popularity contest now and again, you know, which is why sometimes, you know, I kind of wish that I had nothing to do with Facebook because Facebook, that seemed to be all it is. How much cred and likes can I get? Look at my numbers. They're all boosted up. Man, that Black Mirror episode Nosedive is just true to form in that. Because everybody in there was a jerk. You know, you don't have to be everybody's best friend, but you do have to be a little bit more respectful of each other. Which is why, like, going back into the idea of 4th of July, you know, yes, America has its problems. It's not perfect. But the idealism of it all is that, you know, we should go ahead and put aside our differences. We should learn how to atone, and we should learn how to never let nothing like this happen again. But you got some people out there, yeah, sure, they're all about this. I'm holier than thou. I have my hang-ups. Yeah, if you don't agree with me, you're automatically a racist. All that kind of stuff. It's like, you know, like I have some friends that really do like Trump. You know what I'm saying? Remember in the heyday of this show where every episode I was talking about the stupid things that Trump has done, and he's done a lot of stupid things. But then there are some things where you realize that were already dysfunctional before he got in there. It's just that when he got in there, all that stuff heightened up. You see what I'm saying? That's why at the same time, racists are out there swapping and spitting tea and enjoying themselves because guess what? It's not racist if you don't call it racist. See what I'm saying? And you see, not only that, he just went ahead and showboat all this, like this military parade. See, I didn't get to see it, guys, because, I worked today and I went to sleep, but I'm sure some of you out there probably saw like it was a waste of resources or it was just a bloated joke of anything, because, see, people try to thrive on the short memories that, a lot of Americans or people in general typically have. I mean, think about it. Most of the time, our faces are either looking at a screen on our phone, on a tablet, or, it could be anything. But see, attention spans and retention has kind of dropped in some people as of late because of all that. And it's kind of weird for me to say it because, the brand here kind of thrives on that. But the truth is this, it's like, take a break here or there, like really look around you sometimes and don't just stay wrapped up in a veil of bubble safety and security for yourself. Like really take a look at what's around you and see what's real out here. If you have a problem with something, then try to change it. But here's the thing, make sure that you have a strong argument so that you can make the change. And while you're at it, make sure, like, are you going for short-term or long-term? Because, much like Reaganomics, some of that stuff sounded good, much like how the Affordable Health Care Act originally sounded good, but then things shift and change overall because you got other parties that have to be involved in that kind of stuff, and it just turns into a cluster after a while. And then it's amazing that some things do get done because you always got Newton's third law out there. You got, object stays in motion, always stays in motion, but then you have a movable object, and then they're meeting each other all the time. And it's been a stalemate for ever since, I want to say after Bush left, So it's interesting why we're in this cluster. But you also got some people out there that don't vote, and they always say, voting doesn't make a difference, yada, yada, yada. You see, that's why I don't hesitate celebrating the 4th, because, I get involved. I keep an eye on things. Sometimes I go to town halls. Sometimes, I just look at what's around me because, damn it, I live there and I pay taxes and I'm running a business. So you kind of need to know what's going on, and you don't try to power play everybody, but you try to make sure you know what is happening so you can speak your mind, which is why I'm not having a problem saying that to anybody, regardless of what race they are. And I will still eat a hamburger and tell you Happy 4th of July, no matter how you friggin' feel. Because I just don't give a damn sometimes. Beautiful, isn't it? Because guess what? If you're all patriots, like we all should be patriots, then the thing about it is this. Fight for it. And be honest about it. And then at the same time, don't let the fight change you, because there's a moment where, things can, like as soon as you get that power and stuff, what was the original argument then? It's like one of them things you think about, because at first when you were a nobody, you were hungry, you were passionate about it, you stood your ground. But as soon as you got attention and traction, and you liked the attention and attraction, you didn't want to give it up. You became relevant, and then after a while, you started to thrive on that relevancy until it runs out. So then you look at yourself for a moment, and you've totally changed into the one thing that you vowed to destroy. You became he or she that fights monster, because you became a monster all on your own. You know what I'm saying? You might think you're doing good, but you just can't do it without thinking of what you can become sometimes. And don't be afraid of change. Just remember, like, when you do change, what are you changing into? Little things like that. Now, as I go on those kind of spiels, I just want to let you all know there's a Spider-Man movie out now. I wish CNN would quit talking about the post-credit scene. I'm like, hey, some of us are not going to see this movie right off. Some of us have to work extra hours. What is wrong with you, CNN? Which is a very, very, very deep rabbit hole. They need to go ahead and get Ted Turner back in there. Something is not right. Especially with them. And then, of course, you got all these other movie networks that are willing and happy to share this with you. I guess it has a lot to do with the fact that Endgame didn't have any post-credits, but then you see, like, the new Endgame that got put back in the theaters, which is hilarious, and I covered that in the mini bites, has post-credit scenes, and was really a waste of time. It doesn't help the validity of things. It's just like, post-credit scenes are a treasure in some way, but then there are times where they become pretty monotonous. At least this one opens up a whole new gateway. It's just that I'm like, why are we talking about this right now? You know what I mean? If you're going to do it in a non-spoiler way, which means don't talk about it at all. Go ahead and talk about what makes the movie great and then be like, oh, okay. Well, there's post-credit scenes in it. Leave it at that. And you see, I haven't gotten to seeing Spider-Man right off. Like I said before. But I have played the game again, and I still have to beat the other two parts of City That Never Sleeps. But this is cool, though, because once you get the update for it, you can get the two suits that are featured in Spider-Man Far From Home, from the red and black suit to the stealth suit. And, man, those cutscenes really help out. They did a fantastic job on this game. Shout out to Insomniac Games, by the way. I'm really looking forward to the sequel. Hopefully we'll get a goblin fight here or there, or just the build-up. And hopefully that game will be on the PS4, because, face it, guys, as I thrive and I grow this brand of mine, chances are, I want to be able to buy a PS5 and stuff, but, I'm going to wait a year. I'm going to go ahead and ride out this PS4 for as long as it matters. And I'm going to try to get the Xbox One, because some of y'all that have Xbox out there, I'm not going to say any of y'all podcast shows' name, but some of y'all been real comfortable and coming at me with some stuff. And I'm like, yeah, I got that ass. Don't you worry about it. I got you. Oh, man, but shoot. Oh, hey, speaking of which, we got a new Little Mermaid, don't we? Yeah, it's Halle Bailey, and wow, that's pretty on the nose, huh? But that is the kid's name, and she's gonna be Ariel. Now, you see, the thing about Ariel is a fictional character, right? I mean, she's pretty much a half woman, half fish that can sing very well, and had to give up that voice for the D. And yeah, come on, folks, I'm right about this thing. Don't any of y'all feminists start being mad at me. I'm right. Think about it. Even though she pretty much saved Prince Eric's ass multiple times. I'm just being real. But you see, she's going to be the new Ariel. And the thing is, a lot of people are up in arms about it because guess what? It's race lifting. Yeah. You see, Haley is black. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking this. I'm like, it's not going to affect me one way or another. But, it's just like, how dare they find someone who can actually sing? And then some people are like, they could have picked the real redhead for it. And it's like, yeah, they could have. But here's the thing about Disney and all these other execs. When they find somebody that they can book on something as a face, they're going to run with it. So when you look at somebody like, Halle Bailey, and you just listen to her sing, she's got the vocal pipes. And a lot of y'all wouldn't feel good about it if it was an ADR dubbing, right? You would want to be like, oh, you guys couldn't find anybody that could sing naturally and stuff. And it's like the same argument with LaFoe and all these other, or the fact that Jasmine became Sultan at the end of Aladdin. People will find something and they will run with it to complain, won't they? These movies are not entirely made for, those of us that grew up with the classics and stuff. At the end of the day, these are projects that Disney are doing so that they can line their pockets up, and it gives the kids of the newer generation something to look forward to. And what was the whole big argument a few months ago? It was about diversity. It was about more minorities taking up certain roles. You know what I'm saying? Remember when Black Panther came to theaters and a lot of y'all were like, oh my God, this is a step in the right direction, even though black cinema has been around for multiple years. You know what I'm saying? Quite a lot of John Singleton's library is in that spectrum of things. And, when he passed away, everybody was like, oh, man, R.I.P. John Singleton. But then, a couple of days afterwards, they were like, John Singleton who? And it totally irks me to this day, which is, the basis of another argument for another episode. But what I'm saying is that, of course we're in that system of things. But I keep saying this. You got Melissa McCartney about to be Ursula. Now, I don't know about you. Maybe she could do it. Maybe she could play a serious role like that. I mean, I'm sure she has played serious roles. But then, when I look at Melissa McCartney, I always think about how Melissa McCartney sounds when she's agitated or angry. And they could probably work with some ADR dubbing on that. But it's like, okay, maybe. But I'm sure there's somebody else who can do that role a little bit better. If Devon was still around, I wonder if he would do the role again. Because it pretty much was a role for him. But I'm just saying, it's one of them kind of things where you look at, it's like it's still in the pre-production phases. And then there are times that we should be happy that they're even sharing casting details with us, because we all go up in arms and get butthurt about anything nowadays. It's like, Robert Pattinson being Batman, even though like a lot of people are like, I don't like the Twilight guy being Batman. I'm like, yeah, but did you see any of his other filmography before you judged him? And then it gets quiet then. And then they're like, I don't need to. I seen those movies. They were enough. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's the argument's invalid as hell at this point, because it's just like, why are you even mad? Just go play the Arkham games and shut up. It's little things like that. Why we can't have nice things? I mean, we had a credible Superman there for a while, Henry Cavill, and he's over there playing The Witcher now. He looks great for it. It's good for him. But I saw a nice video about that, too, about, like, him and Amber Heard from Aquaman being, like, Prince Eric and Ariel from Little Mermaid. It might be possible, but I never heard Amber Heard sing. So, wow, that was redundant. But I never heard her sing, so it's like, it is what it is. But much like anything else, I kind of want to see the script, because these things are based on the old ones. I mean, if you like the old ones so much and they're treasurable to you, then just stick with them. Right now, the only thing I'm looking at Disney about is like, hey, when are you guys going to re-release 101 Dalmatians, the original animated version? You can keep the sequel all you want, but when are you guys going to re-release that so I can go ahead and add it to my collection? Because there's a hole in the wall. You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's amazing. But I digress. Speaking of which, I had some other stuff here lined up, but, it was a matter of which one was going to be for 106 or what was going to be for 107. But, see, like, gaming, on the other hand, what have I been gaming on lately? Let's see. Pretty much Samurai Showdown. I got Mega Man 11 I need to play. I got a wall of shame going on here, too. I got some Final Fantasy games I need to beat. Oh, which, by the way, the Final Fantasy VII Remake has been kind of the sour note here at the J360 house because of how long it took to come together and become a thing. But at least now we finally got a release date. But I also know that, we're getting all of it. It's not just episodic anymore. So they done good on that. So I'm kind of excited for it. I want to see what happens this time around. But I'm still going to go ahead and try to beat the classic one. But the biggest thing I've noticed is that Final Fantasy VIII is getting remastered. I hope that they go ahead and they do the same thing for Final Fantasy IV. It was good. It was one of those that was amazingly done. I mean, I'm sure they could have taken what they had for the PSP for the classic collection, and they could have used that to turn into a full game for like the PlayStation 3 or 4. They could have used that. That would have been all right. But hey, can't have too much of a nice thing, right? So, I mean, I still have to go ahead and beat that stuff. But at least at that point, I'm playing the PSP. I'm going to have to, because if I have to pull some night shifts here or there, hey, they didn't say I had to work the whole shift. But, yeah, at least Final Fantasy is still thriving high. I think there's going to be a Final Fantasy 14 based series coming too, as far as I know. But I don't know. That's one of them things you got to keep up with, those MMOs. And you see, the thing is, while I'm a good gamer and all, I'm just not an MMO kind of guy. I've tried it with World of Warcraft. I've tried it with Star Wars, the Old Republic. I've tried it with quite a bit of games, and I'm just always out and about, man. I just can't do it like that. But I'm sure if I ever get up there in my 50s or something, I'll probably change after a while. But I also know like Shenmue is supposed to be coming out soon, and I think there's something else that's based on the Yakuza property over there at Sega. And which, by the way, I need to go ahead and get involved in those, because the only one I've played was the first one on PS2, and it's an instant classic. I mean, it has its moments, but I liked it. Just the idea of the whole organized crime thing over there in the Far East is just interesting to me, because there's some honor there. I mean, it's kind of the same thing like when you're playing Mafia over here. it's one of them kind of things. You're either into it or you're not. But as a matter of fact, I hope Capcom re-releases the other Onimusha games. That would be nice. I mean, because we'll only get that first one every time, but I'm hoping that doesn't become a habit, because retro gaming is in, always has been, and it's thriving right now. Because I think the Sega Genesis Mini just had its final wrap-up on the games that it was going to bring in. So chances are we might have something interesting to look into with that. I mean, it piqued my interest, but chances are I'm probably not going to buy it because, well, if you only knew my collection and how far it goes. Matter of fact, I need to see which one's in the lead. Is it my animation collection or is it my video game collection? Just one of them little things to talk about. Speaking of which, I need to go to the flea market. Matter of fact, I need to write that down. Let's see. Go to the flea market and buy some Wii games. Hell yeah, shit. Excuse my language. That library needs to grow. I said, shoo. I didn't say it. Though I probably did, so I might have to click the E on this one. Oh, by the way, have you guys noticed that Amazon Prime Video actually has some interesting content on it? Some shlocky here, some unbearables over there, but it also has a significant anime library. So I was looking at this, I was like, wow, this is a hidden gem of content. I think they got Space Adventure Cobra over there. They got Fist of the North Star, the movie, which, depending on who you talk to, not the movie, but the animated movie. And the animated movie's all right, but I liked it better with the series because it's not all condensed in there, and I could just binge off of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? The animated movie was just too condensed for me. But it also has this movie on here called Robo Vampire, where it looks like RoboCop is fighting against one of those Chinese hopping vampires. It looks so ridiculous that it's epic. And I think I'm just going to sit there and watch it. And, as I watch it for episode 107, I'll go ahead and I'll do a little review on it. And by the way, for those of you that are wondering when I'm going to start doing film redemptions again, I'm doing them again. I have a list of them, so I'll be looking forward to that. Matter of fact, for those of you also out there wondering when I was going to continue that blog feature I had with the video game double features, yeah, that's coming back too. And it's going to be in a multi-meta form, all right? So you might see an episode that's based on that sort of scenario because who would have thought that, Dead or Alive had a movie, and that was painful enough. But there was another movie out there that was coming to. I think Soul Calibur was going to get a movie at one time, and it only got a website. So yeah, I got some ditches to dig. But hey, I've talked your ear off long enough. I want to let you all know this. Now, those of you out there that are probably enjoying the fireworks and everything, remember, 4th of July is an idea for us to celebrate our country's birth. And not only that, yeah, there are extenuating and evil circumstances surrounding it, but the thing about it is we can always change our ways. We can always become better people once we acknowledge that we've done wrong. And then, the fireworks and everything that we have out there, or the gallivanting on social media that we do, you should just take a few minutes, right? And remember that you have the ability to do these things because there were people out there who sacrificed for that way so that you can do that. And in other ways too, like I said before, same thing with Black History Month. You don't stop celebrating Black history in February, do you? I mean, if the institutions do that, that's their problem. But you yourself, especially if you are a part of any minority group, you should always be living up to that idea and don't depreciate the main story. Just remember, you're a part of that history too. Don't let them whitewash you out. And while you're at it, don't let reverse racism come in there to make you become more jaded and hateful of it. This is supposed to be a holiday for all of us. And while you're at it, eat a hot dog or a hamburger. Don't be afraid to go ahead and say Happy 4th of July. Don't be afraid to go ahead and say Happy anything anymore. Because while we have these holidays, we might as well enjoy them while we got them. Because once they go away, they have a way of never coming back. But, hey, till then, this is the J-Man, and you have listened to episode 106 So I'm going to be signing off as of right now. And of course, J360 Radio Live number 5 should be landing tomorrow night. All right. But until then, this is the J-Man signing off. Peace.
With Lucky Land Slots, you can get lucky just about anywhere.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today to... Has anyone seen the bride and groom?
Sorry, we're here. We were getting lucky in the limo and we lost track of time.
No, Lucky Land Casino, with cash prizes that add up quicker than a guest registry.
In that case, I pronounce you lucky.
Play for free at LuckyLandSlots.com. Daily bonuses are waiting. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.
Okay, round 2. Name something that's not boring.
A laundry? Ooh, a book club. Computer solitaire, huh?
Ah, sorry. We were looking for Chumba Casino. That's right. ChumbaCasino.com has over 100 casino-style games. Join today and play for free for your chance to redeem some serious prizes. ChumbaCasino.com. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply. See website for details.